I want to launch a fully 3D printed rocket. So I feel like I need to explain a little bit. So, I've loved rockets and model rockets and whatever kind of rockets for a long time now. Now I love cars, model rockets, 3D printing. I mean, there's all sorts of things that I like. But the thing is, I have so many interests that they're constantly changing. And right now, my mind is on launching a rocket as high as I possibly can without a level 1 certification. Meaning using F and some, pretty much just F, some G possibly, class rocket motors to get as high as I can with a model rocket. While I want to do that, I also decided to revisit an idea I had a long time ago, which was to launch a fully 3D printed model rocket. Recently, I started using the idea of 3D printing a whole rocket as a way to do it because it would let me do the whole design. Instead of using cardboard tubes, fiberglass tubes, or even carbon fiber tubes, with a fully 3D printed rocket, if I print it in the right way, it can still be relatively light while at the same time fully my design, not just tubes that I've modified. They were printed from the ground up the way I wanted. Now, if you're not following right now, that means I can draw up a design on a piece of paper, print it out exactly the same, and launch it, instead of getting a cardboard, carbon fiber, or fiberglass tube and modifying it the way I want it to be, then launching it. So, I thought that this was a really good idea. I wanted to do a 2-stage F-class rocket. So, an F-class rocket motor stacked just below an F-class rocket motor. The first one fires, then the second one fires. We go as high as we can, fully 3D printed. Now, how do I say, that's a stupid idea. So while I'll probably end up doing that in the future, I need to prototype, I need to learn, and I need to experiment with higher rocket motors, because the largest motor I've ever launched is a C-class rocket motor. So jumping to F, even though it's still underneath a level 1 certification, it's still a big rocket motor. So, especially coming off of a C, which I haven't even launched in a long time, I feel like I need some practice. This is editing me. I just realized I never explained, for non-model rocket people, rocket motor stuff. So basically it goes A being the lowest power rocket motor, then there's B, C, D, E, and F, and those you can all buy, just any normal person can buy one. And within each of those letters is certain classifications. So you can have like a half A, which is even smaller. You can have a C, smaller diameter, or then you can get a larger diameter C, but they're both still C because they go relatively the same height. And every time that a letter goes up, you're doubling the distance. So a B will go twice as high as an A C will go twice as high as a B, and they're 4 times as high as an A D will go twice as high as a C, and so on and so forth. So I just realized I never explained that. G rocket motors are kind of confusing because some lower power G rocket motors anybody can buy, but then higher power ones are technically the beginning of level 1 certification. And if you don't know, level 1 certification is basically, it's the first set of rocket motors that basically you have to have taken a test and proven that you can launch rockets with that big of a rocket motor because they're big. And then there's level 2 certification, and I think level 3, but I'm not sure about that. Anyway, I never explained that for you non-model rocket people. So there you go. You're welcome. On with the video. So I need a prototype rocket to learn from. But why design a new rocket and print a new rocket, waste filament and time to make a rocket that might only fly a few times? I have the answer. I printed a rocket a long time ago. This rocket right here does not have a name. It is up to you guys to decide a name. I have a few names written down, which I will share with you in just a little bit, but this rocket was a concept I had a while ago for a modular model rocket system. So this is actually composed of 5 pieces. The nose cone is a piece. There's 3 of these sections that just have one end that receives and one end that goes over top. There's 3 of those here, and then one of those that was modified in the software to be slightly thicker at the bottom because there will be a rocket motor in there, so slightly thicker walls, slightly stronger, and it has fins, obviously. And this all just kind of goes together. I used some glass packing tape, it's like tape with a little bit of foam in it that runs around each connection to make sure it's airtight, and whenever that ejection charge goes off, it won't pop here, here, or here. It will only pop the nose cone off. So I printed this a while ago as basically a modular model rocket system that I designed because other people on YouTube have done that. Other people on Thingiverse have done this, but this is my design. And I printed it out, and I built it, and it sat on a shelf for almost a year and a half. Now I come back to it, and I decide I want to launch this. And this would make the perfect prototype. So this will be launched, I will learn from it, and then we can move into building an actual rocket. My plan with this, because it's a prototype, because it was printed a long time ago, and because I don't care about it that much, I'm going to launch it, recover it, launch it, recover it, over and over and over again, get as much data as I can from this rocket until it smacks into the ground and explodes. Till that point, this rocket will just keep launching over and over and over again, unless it gets past like 10 or 15 times. If I've launched it 10 or 15 times, it deserves to just stay together, and I'll just accept that I've learned as much as I can from it. This is convenient from the standpoint of, now I don't have to print a rocket to test. So my plan is to launch this with an E-class rocket motor. One, because it's smaller than an F, and two, because, well, F rocket motors are kind of sold out right now, so I'm stuck with an E. Now, I haven't bought these yet. This is literally just a printed rocket. It has no engine, it has no parachute system, it has no electronics, it has nothing. It is just printed plastic. Now, the bottom is just a relatively open hole, so I have gotten the measurements for the E-class rocket motor. It's a 24 millimeter diameter. So I have 3D modeled, full CAD designed, an adapter that will go from this size to an E-class rocket motor. So this is a big enough hole I could launch E motors, F motors. So when F motors come back in stock, and I've launched it with some E motors, learned something from those, then I can shove an F in here with a different adapter and learn something from that. So this rocket should teach us a decent amount. The only thing is, it currently doesn't have a name. So any of these names are possible. I'll put them right here. So these are the names that we are considering. All of these names, if not used on this rocket, will be contenders for the name for the next rocket. So all of these names will probably get used unless I end up just deciding that I hate them. So this video is actually kind of boring from the standpoint of, I'm not launching this rocket in today's video. I didn't even give you a name for this rocket in today's video. I didn't show you a rocket motor, a parachute, or any electronics in today's video. I just showed you a plastic rocket and told you that I have plans to do something with it. So, if you want to see this project going forward, I've bailed on 3D printing projects before. I was going to 3D print a full Iron Man suit. I bailed on that. I've done some other things that I thought I was going to print. It was going to be this big project, and I bailed on it because it either cost too much time or money, or I just got fed up with it. This is something that I'm planning on pursuing hard. So, if you want to see this, smash a like on this, comment down below that you are excited to see this, because I need some support to tell me that y'all actually want this. So this is a prototype rocket that I just had sitting around. So I'm not wasting time or filament. It's already been printed. So to just launch it over and over again is whatever. I'm not sure that I mentioned it, but at some point I deleted the files for this. So while I could re-3D model this whole thing, there's no point, because there are flaws with this, and my new rocket designs have fixed those flaws. I've already designed new rockets. I just don't want to print them yet when I have a perfectly good rocket sitting right in front of me. So if you want to see this thing launch, if you have ideas for the name, obviously I can't do a poll anymore. Normally you would just put a poll up in one of these corners and I would give you the names and you would click which one. Can't do that anymore because YouTube took it away. Big sad. So comment down below what names you think that this rocket should be out of that list of names I gave you, or any names that you think might be good. A lot of people on YouTube 3D print rockets, or they have 3D printed parts for rockets. This is a fully 3D printed rocket. If we get super into it, there might be a point down the line where I can no longer reasonably print a rocket when they're just massive. But at this point, with what we're talking about, fully 3D printed rockets, except for the motor and the parachute, and of course any electronics on board. This prototype will run no electronics, just a motor and a parachute, and then in the future, with new rockets, maybe if this prototype survives long enough, this is a super small diameter tube, so fitting electronics in there would be a nightmare for me, but that's my problem, not yours. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Not a vlog, not anything like that. It is 3D printing content, so it will go in the 3D printing playlist, but if you want to see this and any of its future brothers and sisters, comment down below, like this video, give me a ton of support, subscribe to the channel. I do plenty of other 3D printing content if that's what you're here for. If not, check out some of my other stuff. You might fall in love with cars just because of this channel. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I've loved the support recently. We're going for 1,000 subscribers on the channel right now. That's our current channel goal. So if you aren't subscribed, please take the time to subscribe. It's free. Turn on notifications for when I upload videos, because videos aren't getting a ton of views right now, even though I'm making some pretty sweet content. Rockets can get expensive pretty quickly, and I'm also spending a decent amount of money on car mods. So with both of those two things, it would be really nice if you could just subscribe for free. Once we get to 1,000 subscribers, we'll only be making a little bit of money, but every bit counts, so please subscribe. It's free for you. It helps out the channel. It helps out the content that you hopefully love. But yeah, for the last time, well, first, comment some rocket names for this rocket and tell me that you want to see this. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Peace!